So the Book of Old Miner is almost done. In fact, by the time this video comes out, it might be. And there's been a lot of heroes and trends going around, a couple meta heroes and maybe not so meta heroes, just flowing around the meta. And that's what I want to talk about in today's video. I'm going to be giving 8 of the best heroes or hero combos that are currently working very well in this meta, and I'm going to explain exactly why. Because certain heroes in Dota are simply better than others, and it's very important to understand that if you're trying to gain MMR, right? Following the meta is one of the key aspects of a high MMR player, right? It's the reason why in my recent guest the rank video, just by the fact that someone was playing Doom 4, I could tell that they were probably a high MMR player. But now, let's get into the video. Also, if you guys have been enjoying the Book of Old Miner just as much as I have, please like the video as it helps our channel to grow. Support has been solid lately. I've been appreciating. Not gonna lie, also new guest the rank coming out soon, so like the video if you're excited for that as well. Also, hopefully you guys enjoyed the miner just as much as I did. I've been watching a lot lately, and one thing I want to say is that I'm going to be looking over the grand finals and making 2 replay analysis to the heroes for the main GameLeap website. So if you're interested in learning about those teams, right, even just kind of watching Nigma, because I'm going to be following their perspectives and learning about what they do, why they do it, how they do it, and how you can put it into your own games, go check it out, sign up, and I'll see you there. So the first hero on the list is Ember Safelane, and this is primarily inspired by Miracle. Nigma, the team that is basically former Liquid, has been picking this hero quite a bit. I think they picked it 2 or 3 times that I can remember, and there's a couple parameters that make it good, because I know there's players saying this, right? A lot of people want to be Miracle, so how do you be Miracle? Because he has things set him up. Now, the main thing I want to talk about with Ember Safelane is what position 5 do you have with you, guys? You have to understand, when you're observing what safe laners are picked, you can't just look at strictly the off-lane to safe laner matchup. You also have to look at the position 5, right? Who do they pair it with? And who do they pair Ember Speared with? Well, in particular, they picked heroes such as Batrider and Lich. Why would that be? Well, what do Batrider and Lich both do? They apply a ton of pressure in the safe lane, and they also allow you to close the gap very effectively, right? Lich has his 2 slows. Also, he has the ability to let Ember basically just Giga Man up. You have Matrix Absorb and physical damage reduction. It's extremely easy to man up. And Batrider, same thing. Kuroki has been taking Flame Break at level 2, which is the knockback ability on Batrider. So essentially, you get the slow from the Sticky Napalm, and then the knockback of the Flame Break, and all of a sudden you just have this hero getting bounced around, and it's really hard for them to deal with it. And so I think that's really important if you're going into Ember safe lane. A couple more things to note. I believe every single game on Ember Spirit he has played, he's been going Treads and Wand just for this early game stats build. It allows you to right click and do a ton of damage in the early game when everyone else can't really deal with your mobility and aggression. And that's kind of the second half to this point, and when they were picking him, they also would pick heroes such as Wind Ranger to pair with the mobility with Ember Spirit, allowing you to hit this really nice timing where you could just move around the map and get a lot of kills together. Next up on the list is Lich 5. I know I just mentioned it in this Ember video and I mentioned it in other videos, but I'm just here to reaffirm that Lich is one of the best heroes in the pro scene, but it also, in my opinion, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it right now. I think it is the #1 hero to play in solo queue if you are either learning the position 5 role or you're just some safe lane or mid lane player who has to play position 5 one game or position 5 with his friends and you don't know what to do. Lich is pretty easy. As a very straightforward laning stage, you just right click and nuke. Alright, and then if your teammate is getting gone on by a physical damage hero, you throw a shield on them, and then when people group up, you chuck your ulti. It's not that hard. In addition, Lich Axe is quite comical. If you guys haven't seen it, it makes Sinister Gaze AoE, and if I am not mistaken, Kuroki bought it in this miner, and he bought an Aether Lens as well, and I believe that increases the radius as far as I'm concerned. That's probably the reason why he bought it. Otherwise, I wouldn't understand why you would buy Axe into Aether Lens, so check it out yourself, right? I'm not going to say I know for sure that this works, but it's quite comical the pure DPS that Lich can do without any items. You could have a Magic Wand, Tranquil Boots, and a Bracer, and you could basically insta-win a team fight for your team previous to the 15-minute mark, right before people have their defensive items. It's that good. Next up on the list is actually 2 heroes. I'm going to start with Abaddon, and the reason why I want to say 2 heroes is I think they fall into the same category of type of offlaner, but Abaddon can be actually played in the off lane, but also in the position 5 role. He's been picked quite a bit in this miner. He has 13 games played, and one of the highest win rates in the tournament, a 77% win rate. And I think the reason is just he fits lineups so well. You can first pick this hero in your pubs, and then the enemy team doesn't know if it's an offlaner or, you know, the position 5, so you can completely flex it. They do the same thing in the pro scene. And also, it's just one of those heroes that provides so much utility. Aphotic Shield is insane. I just recently watched a game where Enigma laned it with a Earthshaker and a Drow. I don't believe they are winning. It's actually going on right now. But they dominated the laning stage because he bought an Orb of Venom, leveled up his Curse of Avernus, and they killed the Omni Knight twice before the 2-minute mark. And the last thing I want to say about Abaddon is make sure you try to pair it with position 4s who can apply a lot of aggression. Examples of this are actually, well, there's quite a lot of them. Lina is a really good one. You have your stun to set up for the Abaddon right clicks. You have Grimstroke. This is one of my favorites because you have 2 forms of disable to enable the Abaddon throughout the game. Also, you have double miscoil, which, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And finally, you can even pick a hero like Doom, as weird as it sounds, right? Yes, even Doom 4. And this is the only kind of bit of a switch up. Doom doesn't necessarily apply a lot of pressure before he gets levels, right? Doom's fairly weak at level 1. But the thing about Doom is he's very fast, especially if you buy boots and you get Scorched Earth, you can drag the waves, giving Abaddon essentially a free lane, right? If you don't understand what that means, you send Doom between the tier 1 and the tier 2 tower, he drags the wave to your team, and then it's just easy money from there. And the second hero that kind of pairs with Abaddon is very similar to him is Omni Knight. Omni Knight has also been getting picked a ton. I don't believe he's been put as the position 5 role once, and I don't think he's nearly as good as a 5 as Abaddon because Abaddon is quite a bit better without that many levels. However, Omni Knight also has a very high win rate this tournament, a 56% win rate over 16 games, one of the most played heroes in the tournament, I believe 3rd most picked behind Lich and Rubik, which actually might go up after the game that I'm currently watching. And yeah, I just thought this is a very impressive win rate, 56%. I think the hero is very versatile. It counters out a lot of the meta heroes that we're seeing right now. A couple in particular that it counters is Drow. It's pretty good against Slark. I know in the laning stage, it's not necessarily good against Slark, and in fact, Slark can counter it, but in the mid game, you can Omni Knight ulti, it kites out the Shadow Dance, and it can be very effective. Also, you do damage through Shadow Dance, and you shorten the duration of pounce. So essentially, you're a pretty solid counter to the hero. That's all I'm trying to say. I just think Omni Knight is very versatile. Its Heavenly Grace is still one of the best spells in Dota. And as I said, it pairs very well with Doom 4, which is something that we see Royal Never Give Up running in this game against Nigma that I'm once again watching right now. And why is that important? Well, Doom and Omni Knight, you might be like, well, there is absolutely zero synergy in lane besides the fact that maybe Omni Knight can slow them down with Degen Aura so Doom can close the gap. That's not even that necessary or good, right? It's just kind of overkill. So why is this good? It's similar to what I said about the Abaddon, which you need to understand about Omni Knight. The hero is very tanky, very survivable, and sure, he did die twice off the bat in this lane, but because Omni Knight doesn't necessarily need a lot of farm or, that great of a game to have impact, it was totally fine. He did come back online, he did a lot of jungling, he chilled, he didn't really gank, he got his levels up, and Doom dragged the waves for him, right? Exactly what I was saying. Doom kind of enabled him. And this is the key to these type of combos or these dual, picks where it doesn't seem like it has much synergy. If you understand how to run it, which is dragging waves and playing around XP and not necessarily just pure last hits, you will do so much better with these heroes, and that's why the pros use them so effectively. Next up on the list is SF and OD, and the reason why I'm putting them together is because I also want to pair them in the idea of running them with Drow. Drow Ranger has been one of the most picked heroes of the tournament as well. At least it felt like it. According to the sheet, it was only picked 7 times. I feel like it was a lot more. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. I felt like every single time I watched this minor, there was a Drow. I feel like EE played it a lot. I don't know. I feel like everyone was playing it. Regardless, to move on to the point, I still, no matter how much she was picked, I think this hero is very strong right now, even after her nerfs, right? She got some mana cost onto her E. But the thing is, if you pick it with another mid laner that does a lot of right-click damage, it is enabled, right? Also, I think you should be picking it with a hero that can help it survive in lane. What does that mean? Well, Drow is particularly good with heroes that can protect her. So, these examples would be Abaddon, right? That is currently what Nigma is running in this game. ET is a good one. Batrider is pretty solid. As I said, these lane dominators, you can run someone even like Bane, right? Any hero that's going to protect the Drow in lane is going to enable this hero because once Drow gets off to a good start, she pushes in lanes very effectively, she jungles quite quickly, and she does a ton of damage. So give her a good lane and pick her with a hero like OD or SF, which I think are very popular and strong mids right now, and you will have a lot of success because you're enabling their ability to get a lot of right-click damage as they want attack speed. Next up on the list is my favorite safe laner of this current meta, and that is PL. PL was picked 8 times, according to Liquipedia and the Book of Minot, with a 75% win rate. And I know that's only 8 games, meaning he went 6-2, but the thing is, I feel like it is super good against a lot of these meta heroes. What do I mean by that? Well, I think it's good against the hero I just mentioned in Drow, right? I think it counters Drow. I think it's fairly good against Omni Knight because it can kite out. Not necessarily at all stages of the game, right? But it can disengage when he Heavenly Graces, which makes it fairly solid. Also, a couple heroes that were popular throughout the meta, at least, early in the tournament or even in qualifiers, were a hero like Treant. PL does quite well against Treant. PL does quite well against Viper, right? All these heroes are probably coming to your mind. It doesn't necessarily do that well against certain heroes such as the Ember I mentioned earlier. It doesn't do that well against Puck at certain stages of the game. But the thing is, if you protect it, which is what these teams are doing, and you let it get farm, it just kind of carries. That's always been the case for PL, And I think with a lot of the 5s that dominate lane coming back into the meta, and also something I've been noticing in this tournament is that the safe laners are getting a lot of farm. It seems like the safe lane is being completely left alone for the most part. Then, right, the safe laner is going to get free farm, and having a hero like PL or Spectre or Naga can be quite powerful with free farm, right? Especially if they're not getting contested too hard. I'm even currently seeing RNG do extremely well with this Spectre and Chen lane. In fact, the Chen absolutely popped off, and I'm going to mention it later in this video. For that reason, right, the Chen is popping off, he's doing so much, and if you enable a hero like PL with Chen, or something I said earlier, such as the ET or the Bat Rider, you're going to have a lot of room for mistakes, because as long as, you know, the PL is farming the entire game, you have a lot of leeway in terms of, as I said, how many mistakes you can make, and I think that's just a great way to play Dota, right? Let's say you're playing with a team, or you want to instruct your solo queue team on what to draft. I think that is such a great way to look at it, right? Protect the lanes, pick strong laners, and pick a hard carry that is going to snowball later on, and you have a easy to execute team comp. Next up on the list, we have Chen, and as I was saying, I just think Chen is pretty good. The hero is still good. I made a video basically, what, 2 months ago? Maybe it was more than that, when I thought Chen was the best hero in Dota, and I still think Chen is one of the better heroes in Dota. And the main reason being that I think his laning stage is still just so potent. You can take over a small creep camp, and if you happen to get the Stormcrafter, or whatever that thing is called that shoots the lightning, you deal like a gajillion damage and no one can deal with it. It's really that simple. Also, the harpoon guy, whatever his name is, the one that like stings you and throws the toxic harpoons, you know what I'm talking about. That thing does hella damage. That thing chunks. And you just take that over, you right click, you buy a headdress, and the fact that mech is so easy to buy now because you can literally start the game with the headdress, you don't need to buy wards, you can buy headdress, a set of tangos, or even a salve, and you just have infinite heals for your safe laner, and it's absolutely insane, right? It's so basic, right? That's my thing about Chen, the hero is so basic, you still give your safe laner 7 base regen in lane. It's like, how would that not be good? The thing is, it is good in my opinion. You rush a mech, you buy a Vlad's, he has Greaves in this game, they give him his extra jungle items. Not only that, guys, I forgot to almost mention, Chen can not only stack multiple camps if you're good at micro, he can also literally jungle. Chen can jungle, which is beneficial in this meta because let's say your other heroes don't want to jungle and they want to make plays, or they're not jungling or being efficient, right, in this meta where there's jungle items, you can get them all for your team. You can farm them all for your team. It's kind of nice at all stages of the game. It's really convenient. And finally, the last hero on the list is a hero that surprised me, and honestly, I wouldn't have expected to say this unless I was looking at the numbers, but we see Io with a 80% win rate here, right? This is according to Liquidpedia. It was picked 8 times, and it won 7 of the games, and that just kind of shocked me. So I looked, I was like, okay, who is picking Io? Who in the world's picking Io? And I went down to the Nigma versus Royal Never Give Up series, and I feel like I keep seeing these two these two teams, but they had a lot of games recently, so that's the reason. And every single game of their series that was played on the 11th of January had an IO in it. That's crazy to me. Every single game had an IO. The first game, Royal Never Give Up had the IO, and they won. The second game of the series, right, Nigma had the IO, and they won, right? It's like whoever had the IO won. And then the third game, just to really make sure I'm not absolutely crazy, Royal Never Give Up had 39 kills with the IO. 39 kills. I mean, I don't even know what to say. IO won every single game of the series with the 2 best teams of the tournament in it. At least 2 of the best teams in the tournament in it. That just goes to show to me that there is potential in this hero. One thing I will note is that every single time they had an IO on one of the teams, they had some sort of sustain or heal. But we saw a lot of that throughout this tournament. We saw a lot of Venges, Treants, IOs, now Chen even. And for this reason, I think it's generally important to pick Io with another sort of save or heal. In this game with Royal Never Give Up, they had a Venge and a Treant, making it very hard for Nigma to actually get on top of the Io and burst him, which is typically how you counter Io to a large extent. In the game where Nigma had them, they had a Winter Wyvern, right? They also had a Huskar, a hero that pairs very well with the Io. And then finally, in the last game, they had a Legion Commander, right? Another hero that can, once again, purge the IO. The enemy team had a Doom, who's going to Inferno Blade the IO. They have Meld, which you can dispel the buff. They even, and most importantly, have a Treant, and you can dispel the IO when he gets rooted. It's one of those things where I just think it makes so much sense to have a sustain/save hero with your IO, and if you do that, you're going to have this almost impossible to kill lineup that you can death ball with, and I think it is very strong, should not be underestimated. So all you IO players, rise up, and let's get it. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that video of meta update. I guess that's what I'll call it. I don't really know, but yeah, this has been a really fun minor to watch. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it just as much as I have, and I'll see you in the next one. Are you tired of being hard stuck at your rank? Over at GameLeap.com, we have a library of hundreds of guides authored by pro players and coaches covering literally every aspect of Dota. Whether you're looking to master a new hero or role, or just polish up your existing skills, GameLeap is the proven place for competitive gamers to hone their craft and unlock their secret potential. Hit the link on screen right now, to take advantage of our special offer for a 25% discount, guys. 25%, and start your journey today.